This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a real estate investment company? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Suzanne Johns with Dallas Real Estate Investments. Suzanne, it's great to have you on today. Now, we are so excited to learn all about you and your business. So please start off and tell our listeners just a little bit more about your company.
You know, I put the real estate millions, that's what you look for. So I work with individuals that would like to stop dreaming and start earning that kind of money to put in your bank account or to put in your investment accounts. Not everybody needs to do stocks, bonds, and annuities or life insurance in some cases. We do real estate. So it's going to be a lot of multifamily, or it can be multiple homes, or it can be duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, apartment complexes, and it can either be investment properties. It can be for your kids if they want to be near a college, or it can be for Airbnb. So that's what I work on, finding people what they would like to have as an investment.
I love that. Now, let's dive into your background for a second. Go ahead and tell our listeners here how you got started in the real estate investment industry.
I have been in the business now. This is my 48th year. So it's been a while. 1978 is when I got my broker's license. I started in the commercial real estate. And then I decided, well, I'll try a little bit of residential as well. But the money was just too good on the commercial side. So instead, I like the houses. My husband is a major custom home builder, and I like working with that. But I like more of the investor's psychological mindset when it comes to investing. So instead of when you have a homeowner, there's more that you've got to do more nurturing. You have to, be able to hit all of those psychological things that I don't do that well. I know numbers. I know what are good things. I know how to put you in the right places. I don't want to have to tell you whether or not your wall needs to be painted. It's just different clientele. So I decided I would much rather work with that type of individual or individuals. So that's what I do.
Understood. Well, with all your years in this industry, I'm sure you've picked up on a few pearls of wisdom. So let's go ahead and get into something here. What is the number one misconception you come across in your industry that you'd like to address for our listeners today?
The most important thing that I run across is that in this town, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, we only have 45,000 active real estate agents. Not everybody can do what you need them to do. Just because you have a license does not mean that you are qualified, educated, or able to do something in particular so you don't have the expertise. That's really important for people to find out those questions. Just because your mother, your sister, or your brother has a real estate license does not mean that they are going to be able to. They may have your best interest at heart, but that doesn't mean that they can actually achieve your best interest. Big difference. So I run into that a lot, where they have to deal with the fact that the other person that's involved doesn't have the expertise necessary. That's the biggest problem I run into in my business.
And how could a potential client find out whether someone has those skills or not?
The first thing you need to do is just ask them if they can find you a particular investment or a duplex even that's going to make them money and run in what's called a term sheet. So now I want to know whether or not it's going to make me money. Just because I buy it doesn't mean it's going to rent for enough money. Doesn't mean it's going to be old enough or young enough of a piece of property that it doesn't require a lot of maintenance. Doesn't mean that I've got a management company in place. There are all these other questions that you need to ask that they don't know how to ask those questions. They don't even know to ask those questions in the first place. So that's what I do.
So, Suzanne, we're going to go ahead and switch gears here for a second. Now, we know marketing is the heart of every business. So, ideally, who is your ideal client? And today, how are you attracting them?
I do a whole lot of networking. That's one of the biggest things that I do. And then I use past customers because my best customers are my referrals. So anytime you have referral business, that's always the best. But that's not going to be all that you have in my purview. You got to have more than just your referrals, because not everybody's going to buy a house every year. If I did that, I'd be golden. But that doesn't always happen. You're probably going to buy one every 2 years, maybe every year and a half. If you're an aggressive investor, then yes, you are. You're going to do one a year, maybe one every 18 months, and that makes your portfolio grow quicker. But it's not necessarily the way you're going to. Probably about 10% of my clients do that. The rest of them buy and hold, wait, buy and hold, wait, and we pull the money, put it into something else, and then roll it. That's what we call it. Roll it into the next, and the next, to the next.
I love that. Now, Suzanne, if you could sum up all your years of knowledge into one grand takeaway for our listeners here today about Dallas real estate investments, what would that one takeaway be?
Real estate is a roller coaster. It's not for the faint of heart. If you think that you've got it all figured out, I can promise you, real estate is cyclical. It runs in circles. Usually it's 5 to 7 years. I can almost put my money on 5 to 7 years. So if you are at the end of that 5 to 7 years, you have to be more conservative. If you're beginning, then it's time to just go for it. So that's the most important thing, is to start watching what's going on in the news, what's happening as far as investments, where the stock market is going up, down, or staying static. Those are things that are indicators. It's really important to be able to investors have to have not really a wild, but a well-rounded view from all things that are going on. Even though you're not investing in stocks, bonds, and annuities, you still need to know what they're doing. If they're all in the tank, probably real estate's going to be right behind it. So it's just something, you have to watch. And then start asking people.
Amazing. Now, one final question for you today. Where can our listeners go to learn more about Dallas real estate investments?
I'm also, with my husband, we are real estate developers. And so our best website right now is our development website. And then you can still see all of my reviews. You can see all of my information and get a hold of me easily. But you can also see what we do on the development side. So that's ttracydevelopment.com. And that's T as in Tom, RACY, development.com.
Well, Suzanne, I really appreciate you being on the show today. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com, or call 469-221-9345.